We're going to begin this hour with simmering tensions between Beijing and Washington. The U.S. is warning China not to aid Russia in the war against Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with his Chinese counterpart at the Security Conference in Munich, telling him that doing so would have, quote, serious consequences for China. CBC's Dominic Velitis has more.
US officials claim China's been supplying non-lethal support to Russian forces in Ukraine for some time. But in his interview with CBS, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Beijing was thinking about going even further. Here he is. Take a listen.
We've been watching this very closely. To date, we have seen Chinese companies, and of course in China there's really no distinction between private companies and the state. We have seen them provide non-lethal support to Russia for use in Ukraine. The concern that we have now is based on information we have that they're considering providing lethal support. And we've made very clear to them that that would cause a serious problem for us and in our relationship.
It's not clear what information the US has received about China's alleged plans in Ukraine, but what is more certain is that relations between Washington and Beijing are already strained after the US shot down that suspected Chinese spy balloon earlier this month. Now, NATO, including the US, is of course already sending weapons, ammunition and equipment of its own to Ukraine. But if China were to mirror the move and deliver the same support to Russian forces, then its relationship with America will likely deteriorate even further. The conflict in Ukraine has obviously been high on the agenda of this year's Munich Security Conference, and France's Emmanuel Macron has been speaking to journalists about it. He told one newspaper that he did not want to see Russia totally defeated in Ukraine, nor did he want to see regime change in Moscow. Instead, his goal, it appears, is peace talks, to carry on supporting Ukraine militarily with the aim of forcing Moscow to the negotiating table and securing a lasting peace. Now, this morning, in response, the Kremlin accused him of duplicitous diplomacy, that his remarks showed that the West had discussed regime change in Russia at a time Macron was repeatedly seeking meetings with Putin. Dominic Velitis, CBC News, London.